I was listening to that song and it really got me thinking. I'm on the cusp of two different interviews, both out of state. Finally getting the chance I wanted to move away and hopefully start over. I know, another bad day of not looking. I can't even see myself. I got my glasses on. Got some headband on my head. So I'm doing this video because it says tell my mother and my father. I forget what it says to tell them, but then I started thinking of my dad and when he died of cancer and those last a couple of weeks, and he had lost a lot of weight. Sorry, it's really hard for me, but I wanted to document some of the memories. I hopefully I'll never forget. A couple of them have already gotten sketchy, but he was sitting. They had brought in a hospital bed into our living room, and he was in terrible pain and suffering. It was awful. It was not an easy passing, and just miserable. And I'm like, Dad, let's video chat with Anna, because Anna was back over still in Detroit going to school and stuff. And my dad plasters on the biggest smile ever and talks to Anna as if it was just another day in his life, like as if everything was perfect. And that was my father. For years, we would always go up to my grandparents. Weird family situation. My mom's mom and my dad's dad were married. That's how my mom and dad met. They were technically stepbrother and sister, but during those years they never lived together until my father's mother died of breast cancer when he was 16, and the stepfather just then disappeared. I think my dad was hoping to live with my stepfather, and then he was gone and he was left having to go live with his father, and my dad never really even seen him. My grandfather, not a good parent. I'll admit that. That's what taught me that some people are much better grandparents than they are parents. They're two different sets of talents, I guess. I don't know, but I loved my grandfather. And the part of why I loved my grandfather is I had no idea growing up that he was a terrible father. I had no idea that my dad did not like his father. Because my mom would always go up. My grandparents in 1975 retired, or at least that's when they bought. No, they retired in 75. They had in the 60s a place called Up North, Remus, Michigan. And so we would always go up there because it was my mom's mom. And so we'd go up and see them. And, of course, my dad's dad, because they were married. And it wasn't until, my God, probably my dad in his 70s. I have his 60s maybe. I mean, God damn, that many years, my dad smiled through it, and he didn't. Some parents, they'd sit and complain about it. My mother probably more so. Oh, I got to go see my damn father. Oh, he's this, he's that, and talk about the past. No, I don't think. I do not remember one time my dad complaining about the past. One time my dad really complaining ever. And you grow up just taking that for granted. I mean, I always knew he was my rock. I don't know. I just wanted to get this down. What an amazing human being my father was. And not because he went out and conquered the world, not because he was a doctor or a lawyer or made $1 billion and had a gigantic house. But more because he knew how to live in the moment. And after his mother died, it was hard for him, and then his stepfather abandoning him. And, he meets my mother, and then he was 19, they got married, and then started a family. And it was hard for him at first. He had an issue for a little while, and then he decided he solved it. He started getting busier, and then he coached all 3 of us kids, something he enjoyed, but then obviously a great role model for us. I don't think they ever missed one of my sporting events, and I played everything. um, the girls in volleyball and community college were like, if my parents were a little late, they'd know it. Like, Vicky, where are your parents? They're always here. And in community college, we traveled. I mean, it was up to a 2-hour drive, and my parents would make it. Anyways, so the amazing man that was my father, it's going to be 3 years this year. And that song, now it's more for my mother because I know she's upset that I'm choosing to move out of state. She would like me to move over there, and obviously that's hard for me. I feel responsibility ties there. I need to do what's also best, not just for me, but for my daughter also. And I think getting out of Michigan will be good for everybody. And maybe this will be our chance. And I know I have not been the parent my father was. But hopefully I've excelled in other areas and that he'll still be proud. All right. Miss my dad.